Good evening, everyone. Again, it's Carpo here. I just made kind of a quick video about me being sick and being having gratitude, being grateful for being alive and existing at all. And as I finished, I just thought, I really wanted to make a video about empathy, about emotion, about understanding. Something that has such a, a wide influence on all of us, emotion in our lives, that it's really difficult to categorize how we feel about each other, whether it's people we know or people that we just see on the television who may be starving or suffering. There are times when I can read a story about some of the worst things that have ever happened or that are happening right now in the world and say, man, that really sucks. And then there's other mornings where I wake up and I just see a simple, maybe a Vice News article or a clip about some random village where some people were attacked, and I just cry for them, I think, what is this emotion that comes at some times and not others, and what is empathy, really? It's not something that I'm just... See, when I pose a question like this, I never say it just without doing any research on that. The reason why I even talk about certain subjects is because I've done a shitload of research on a lot of them, at least to the point of a layman version of research. And when it comes to empathy, it's interlinked with altruism, hand in hand. Altruism is something we thought was a human characteristic, that only humans help other humans without expecting anything in return. Only humans help other humans and sacrifice their life for the lives of other humans. And there have been thousands of studies done on whether or not humans are more likely to help them, people within their own family or anyone within the same race or the same, with the human race, or even within the same color or culture, But what we find over and over is that people will save a person regardless of who they are or what culture. The instinct is just to act and help people. And we could say that that's something that's learned, and partially it probably is, but the question would be this: if it is learned, why does it matter, and why doesn't our own instinct kick in to tell us, no, don't sacrifice your own life for the life of someone else you don't know? That's something that's more difficult to explain. Animals do it too, and the more we discover about animals, and the more we realize how altruistic animals can be to sacrifice themselves, not just for their own flock, because there's lots of cases of that, where an animal will sacrifice itself for the group, or an insect. Of course, insects, but the higher up the intelligence of the animal, you would think that the less likely it would be to sacrifice itself for others it doesn't know, or that wouldn't perpetuate its own offspring. And we find that isn't the case. It's interesting that the more intelligent animals get, the longer it takes to raise their babies, but also the more that family members will help. Take corvids, for example, crows. Crows are some of the most intelligent animals on Earth. They can solve several puzzles, 4-part puzzles, where using if you haven't seen the research done on crows and how they use tools, it might blow your mind. Yeah, there's only, I think, three animals that are known to regularly use tools, and that's primates, and elephants, and now corvids, or crows. But the New Caledonia crows, they go a step further. Not only do they make hooks to pull things out, grubs out, but they also know how to tease them first and get them irritated. And then they have a different type of tool where they cut a 3-prong little groove out of a certain type of reed, where it's an actual multi-level tool for different depths. It just shows that they're thinking creatures. But the fascinating part was how they recognize human faces, and how, as intelligent as we are, if someone were to, let's say, come up to you and maybe, steal your wallet or your purse, the way that humans, they remember each other's faces is horrible. We have horrible facial recognition, and this is why, eyewitness testimony is so faulty, because we don't remember very well. We have horrible facial memory. But when it comes to crows, if you irritate them once, you can come back wearing the same mask a year later, and they'll know who you were. There was a huge research project done where in multiple places where these guys would wear masks, and then they'd harass the crows. And even coming back years later, the crows would not only remember them, but their babies would remember them. Even before they could fly, where the babies were harassed, they learned from their parents' behavior. And this is super complex, ultimately very complex behavior, And I guess the reason why I've led from the empathy from humans into animals is because we find that if animals are altruistic and animals are very intelligent, then how can we not say that animals are empathetic? We know that crows will gather around a dead crow. They'll all just land in a tree silently and sit there for a couple minutes and then fly off. We know that elephants will come, year after year to the place of their deceased. It's pretty amazing behavior. For so long, humans have wanted to reign supreme over animals and to think that we're different. But I think that we can learn a hell of a lot more from animal behavior than we could ever learn by trying to separate ourselves from the animal kingdom, by thinking that we're really something special. Something was triggered in humans which caused us to be creative. Many animals are musical. They may not realize what they're playing. Isn't it funny that so many animals are naturally musical, but only humans have to learn how to be musical? I mean, we may know in our minds what sounds good, but we can't really just learn how to play instruments or, carry a tune until we understand how these, pitches and harmonics work. And so we're smart in the ways that we're smart, by using tools, by understanding these certain things. But, all animals are smart in their own way, and this is why the whole planet is an organism that functions as one. I guess my camera's probably going to die. It said it's at like 14%, so I'm going to go. Here in Portland, there's supposed to be a storm today, and holy shit, man, there's a lot of people coming over to my neighbor's house. They must be having a party or something. Since I've sat here, there's like 8 cars that have pulled up. My whole street's full. They've never had a party over there, but since I'm in my bus, maybe I'll just give you a quick glimpse of what I've got. I just painted the walls here. Here's up in the front. Still, basically what I've been doing in here today is looking for leaks. There's my sink and everything, and I'm still putting in a lot of stuff, so I just wanted to get it insured. So I finally got it insured, and yeah, I need to post something like that for my other channel, for my school bus channel, because I shopped around. They gave me the first quote, and they said, oh, they don't do it in Washington. Here's another person, and it was like $460 for 6 months, and I was like, no. I waited for a couple weeks, wrote him back when we were more finished with the bus, and said, okay, now it's complete, so will you, talk to another underwriter? So he sent me back the quote, and it was like $198 for 6 months. So that's really pretty cheap. 35 bucks, $33 a month, right? So yeah, not bad. I'm glad to be back to normal after being sick for so long. Feels good. I still can't swallow, but that's the thing. In comparison, in comparison to how I felt, I got empathy for my previous self. Take care, everybody.